and Cyclone Hockey fans. Welcome to this episode of the Murdoch Show. I'm your host, Kevin Wey, and I'm joined with me, per the usual, by Cyclone Hockey General Manager and Head Coach, Dr. Alan Murdoch. As always, Coach, any comments before we get rolling?
Man alive, it's been a full week already between heading down to St. Louis and sending some of the rookies up in the big arch, the St. Louis Arch, and playing a couple of pretty good hockey games, getting back here, doing the fundraising, to make sure we get all the bills paid. It's been a busy week already. Had a great radio show last night and expect to have a great TV show tonight.
Absolutely. We can't guarantee that it'll be quite as lights out as last week's episode. Those of you who have watched that can stop laughing. Anyways, we have in store for you Cyclone Hockey's Player of the Week. Mark Huber will be joining us. We'll also be joined by Cyclone Hockey Cheer Squad member Molli Wienhold to discuss a cool event they have coming up, the Little Cheer Clinic, and we'll also preview this weekend's important series against Central Oklahoma. But first, we have a weekend of extremely important hockey against Lindenwood University to discuss. Well, Coach, Friday's results obviously wasn't what we would like to have seen. An actual gameplay, though, it was much closer than the score reflected. Shots and goal were reasonably close to even. I guess, what would you say, what happened on Friday?
Yeah, I think Friday it was a case of running into a team that isn't ranked number 3 in the nation by accident. They play very well, especially on the power play. They play very, very well. Rick Zombo, Ted Sater, their new assistant coach, do an excellent job of preparing the team. They were physically prepared for us. Their goaltender, both nights they played 2 different goaltenders, both played outstanding. But that's the kind of experience you want during the regular season. I think maybe Lindenwood is starting to get into the playoff mold right away, and we're not quite there yet. We've got another week or 2 of good, solid practices before we get into that mode, but it's upon us. I thought there were some bright spots. On the weekend, Rooney scored a hat trick. His line mate for the weekend, Mark Huber, who's going to be our guest tonight, also got a couple of goals. The only goal on Friday night and scored again on Saturday night. Got a couple of assists, so 4 points helped him, become Player of the Week. Overall, we played a couple of different goaltenders. Ness got some ice time on Friday night and a little bit on Saturday night. Karras got to see some pretty good shots and pretty good action. So that's exactly what we're going to see when it comes playoff time. But in the meantime, we've got to get ready for Central Oklahoma.
Certainly. Still looking at the games against Lindenwood. Saturday's game was, fair amount closer, 6-5. Team hung with Lindenwood pretty well, despite the fact being down to the team's top scorers, J.P. Stack and James Buttermore, for transgressions the previous evening. Talk about what helped the team, despite, like I said, a little bit shorthanded in that skill level aspect that particular night, stick with the third-ranked team in the nation.
Oh, you bet. In regard to Kazak's incident, sometimes the players can get a little bit frustrated, and in the sport of hockey, a lot of these guys come up through the junior ranks where fighting is allowed. NCAA hockey doesn't allow us to play those same rules, but he certainly won the fight. There's no question about that. But it caused him to be tossed along with the guy he fought with from Lindenwood from that game and the next day. So they got to help with stats. Buttermore's case, it's one of those incidents where you have guys hooking and holding you a little bit, so you try to shake free, and unfortunately the point of his stick got into the midsection of an opposing player, and it happened right in front of officials. So that's a no-no as well. That gets you out of that game and the next one, plus a 5-minute major penalty on Friday night. That you don't get a guy out of the penalty box when they score a power play goal, and I think they got at least 2 power play goals during that 5-minute span, and that was pretty devastating. We came out, played them real well on Friday night, 1-1 at the end of the first period. I felt like we had a good game plan going into effect, but then the incidents in the second period just really opened it up, and I thought, well, it's an opportunity to give Ness some real game experience, and Karras had allowed 4 goals, and Ness went in and allowed 4 before the end of the game. So, that's the kind of experience. If you can find some positives in it, that's the kind of experience they'll need to have to go into playoff time. Saturday night, a little bit more of the same. I thought we had a very good game plan. I thought our players were very prepared mentally and physically, and showed it at the end of the first period. We were winning 2-1. The second period, Lindenwood opened it up again, unfortunately, on the power play. I think altogether they got 3 power play goals on Saturday night out of the 6. So, in essence, we won the first period 2-1. Third period was a tie. We were down 1 goal going into the third period, and it ended up we lost by 1 goal. We were actually down 6-4 at one point in time. We pulled our goaltender, and it put a 6th attacker on, and we kept the pressure on and got a goal with a little over 2 minutes left in the game. So we put Karras back in the net at 6-5. We pulled him with under a minute to go in the third period, and I thought we had some opportunities, but just couldn't quite put away, and went away with a 6-5 loss to pretty solid Lindenwood team that I think was very thankful to get out of that Saturday night game without the loss.
Certainly. Well, fans, let's roll through some of the highlights from this weekend's scoring. We have to apologize. We don't have Mark's goal from Friday due to a technical difficulty. We'll have a good goal tonight. But Brian Rooney gets the party started on that one. Alec Wilhelmi fires it towards the net, right there for the rebound. And we'll see loose pucks up front come and play again. Justin Wilkinson gets his first goal of the season. Every Cyclone skater now has a goal. Glad to see even the defenseman gain some goals.
Very opportunistic. Good setup by Hubert Rooney there.
That was a great dish. And a great long spring feed by Brandon Clark to make that one happen. Here's a play where John Fable's forechecking creates confusion, and the puck comes back to Huber and goal. A little bit of karma there for Mark Huber with the dish to Rooney.
Lindenwood's goaltender's a little bit nervous. He's from Manitoba, and of course he knew that's where I'm from, so he knew we were going to pour it on, but we needed just one more goal in 5.
Absolutely. Even saw their goaltender talking from one of our own Manitoba natives, Sean Crawford, on the Red Lines during pre-games. Obviously, both Kent Henry and Sean Crawford go back a little ways. Well, one of the differences between our two teams, between Lindenwood and the Cyclones, is we both have very talented rosters, but more of their top 6 forwards and top defensemen are, especially the forward aspect, are more experienced. How much does that help Lindenwood?
Yeah, I think it helps quite a bit. We've off and on quietly during the season looked at this year as a rebuilding season with a lot of lower classmen, freshmen, sophomores. We've got a pretty healthy junior class, but only one senior. So a lot of people would say, "Hey, it's a rebuilding year," but I don't buy into that. I don't think any year for Al Murdoch or Cyclone Hockey is a rebuilding year. I think we've got a good, solid team. But, looking at the Lindenwood squad, they had pretty good balance. I think they had something like 4 seniors, I think 5 or 6 juniors, 5 or 6 sophomores, and then 14 freshmen that practice with their squad. They practice with 26 guys, same as we do, and they dress 21 for a game. And I think their 21 tended to be more upperclassmen than perhaps we had in our lineup. But at the same time, by the playoff time, our freshmen are going to look like veterans.
Kind of touched upon my next question. Talk before we go to break about the kind of the overarching lessons as we near the Central States tournament and the ACHA national tournament. The lessons learned from this weekend.
Oh, you bet. You've got to learn from your mistakes. You've got to obviously play error-free hockey. Team that has the fewest errors is going to stand a better chance of winning. Special teams, absolutely huge. I don't feel our power play is playing at the level that I would like them to play. We've got some more coaching to do there. I don't think our penalty kill is playing at the playoff level. They're playing very well during the season. Statistically, our penalty kill is just under 24%. Pardon me, our power play is just under 24%. Our penalty kill is just a little over 82%. Pretty good percentages, but I think for the last 6-8 games, Lindenwood has been hitting on their power play at about 50%. So a lot of teams are going to struggle with that. We'll work on special teams and practice this week and next week and the week after. I'm optimistic. We came out in the seeding this last go around at 7th. I'm optimistic that we'll stay in the top rankings. Need to pick up a couple of wins this weekend and play very well through the Central States tournament to keep the highest seed possible, because there are some real contenders, in that top. It's going to be the top 20 this year, but the top 16 for sure at any given point in time. Any team can beat any other team.
Absolutely. All right, fans, we have to take our first commercial break of the night. After the break, we'll be joined by Cyclone Hockey Player of the Week, Mark Huber. Of course, later we'll be joined by Molli Wienhold to discuss the Little Cheer Clinic that they're holding later this month. And we'll also preview this weekend's games against Central Oklahoma. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Buy the pizza after.
Welcome back to the Murdoch Show. Kevin Wey, your host here, and I'm joined with me by, of course, Cyclone Hockey General Manager and Head Coach Dr. Alan Murdoch, and now as you see on your screen, Player of the Week, Mark Huber. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Coach, last time Mark earned Player of the Week, it was also against Lindenwood. Unfortunately, we did not have a show that particular week following, so tell fans and viewers a little bit about Mark as a hockey player.
Yeah, Mark is a real hustler. He came up through the Minnesota system, and Minnesota is well known for developing the basic fundamentals of hockey very well. Plus, he also works at summer hockey school, so he gets some extra ice time there, and you get to hone those skills of passing and shooting and skating. But I would say overall, the thing that really puts him head and shoulders above a lot of teams we play against and guys in our own team is, what he might lack in ability or youthfulness, he makes up for in hustle. He's just hustling all the time, and that was a key to get 2 goals and 2 assists this weekend against Lindenwood. And I can't remember his statistics accurately from before Christmas, but I've got a feeling he was one of the hustling guys out, against the top teams.
Absolutely. Mark, as I mentioned, you stepped up to the plate both times now against Lindenwood, and that's quite possibly the best opponent we have faced so far. So what's it been like to be able to play and be such a contributor in games of that importance?
Coming into the season, I didn't really know what my role was going to be. I wanted to fit into the team and just try to contribute as much to the team as I could. And opportunity was given to me, and you just kind of take it and run with it. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity and try to keep doing what I'm doing.
Sure. As Coach mentioned, you're from Minnesota, from Dodge Center, Minnesota. So, Minnesota is the state of hockey, but certain areas of the state of hockey are more the state of hockey than others. And yes. Dodge Center, which is a little bit, if memory serves right, a little southeast of Rochester, a little bit southwest of La Crosse, Wisconsin, kind of in that southeastern portion of the state. So it took some work for you to make your way up to the junior ranks to eventually play for the Edina Lakers. Talk a bit about that path, because it wasn't one without obstacles.
Yeah, I'm from a small town, like you said, Dodge Center. It's about 2,500 people. And my high school was big on football. So I played football and baseball and played hockey for a county team. So we weren't huge on hockey, but I was one of a couple from my high school to play hockey. So, it was really a tough road for me from high school to the junior route. I didn't make a lot of teams coming out of high school, and I was given an opportunity in the Minnesota Junior Hockey League, and just went on to play 3 years there, and that's kind of the long road, but I made it. So
that's right. It's they don't ask you how, just whether you did. Coach, this. As Mark kind of touched on this himself, he's worked his way up the depth chart, and you even touched on this, but talk a little bit more about what it is, like the little intangibles that Mark's bring that has helped separate himself to where he's the player that's been called upon when opportunity arises to step into a larger role.
Yeah, often the first 6 or 8 games of the season are games where we want to make sure we get good evaluation done, so players, especially freshmen, that we want to evaluate in a little more detail. Some nights they dress and some nights they don't. And Mark was one of those players in that first few weeks of the season. Never complained, never heard a squeak from him. He's been a true first-year player at Iowa State, just listening and learning. And he had the opportunity to play on, we refer to it as the black unit, the 4th unit, in practice and in games, and that tended to be the hustle unit, the unit that had 3 players that just wanted to be in the lineup as much as possible. And then as things occur and we have injuries and we have guys that get suspended, he's worked up a little bit from there. He's played the last couple of weeks with Brian Rooney, and they've got a certain level of chemistry going. And Rooney, of course, is playing lights out. Because it's his senior year, he wants to leave it all on the ice. So I think Mark fit very well with him and showed that hustle. It'll be hard to get him out of the lineup now.
Mark, you spent your first year of college at St. Mary's up in Winona, Minnesota. Obviously, you're with us now. Talk about what it was that made you decide to come to Iowa State, and I guess what are your impressions of Iowa State and the Ames community so far?
You know what? Yeah, I started at St. Mary's, and I loved it. I had a great time, great people, but I never really got an opportunity when it came to the hockey aspect, and that was really one of my goals, was to play college hockey. And when I talked to Eric Tofty and Coach Murdoch, they really gave me an opportunity to come and to play and go to a great school with a big atmosphere, and that's what really sold me on Ames and the campus, and I'm having a great time. I love it better than St. Mary's. Just the people, the atmosphere, the hockey is next to none. So,
certainly glad to hear that. Coach, Mark's one of the first-year players who's kind of established himself as one of the leaders. And I sometimes think of him almost as the leader when the team's on the road and we're at a restaurant and the rookies sing to the restaurant. Mark is the player who announces that to the rest of the crowd and even sometimes takes lead vocals. But with that, what is it about Mark that has kind of helped make him one of the leaders of the dozen-plus first-year players that we have?
Yeah, we've had lots of players over the years. Mike Liebler was a great player for us that's playing pro over in Austria now. And Mike was one of those quiet leaders, and I see Mark as being a quiet leader. Mike was one that, took college courses before he came to Iowa State. And that helped him finish his degree pretty easily in 4 years in engineering. And I see Mark as being similar. He took classes up at St. Mary's, and if anything, that gave him a little bit of an edge on the other first-year players at Iowa State. So I guess you could say academically he's a sophomore. It's his first year here with us, and he's with a group of 12 or 13 first-year guys, so he's more than happy to step up and give introductions at restaurants or do whatever it takes to help motivate and pump up the team, and the coaching staff really appreciates that.
As well as doing whatever it takes, kind of what helped earn Mark Laker of the Year in his final year with the Edina Lakers. Well, Mark, I guess with more long-term, what are some of your goals with Cyclone Hockey? But then also, you'll eventually graduate, of course. So what are your professional goals beyond that?
As a Cyclone, the end goal has to be to win a national championship. Like you said, we have a huge freshman recruiting class. I really do think we have the talent and the motivation to do what it takes to win a ring. So that's the ultimate goal while at school here. And I would really love to play pro on after Iowa State. I think that's every little kid's dream growing up as a hockey player. Whether it be in Europe or in the minors here, that's really my ultimate goal.
Sure. All right, fans, we got to take one more commercial break. But after the break, we'll be joined by Cyclone Hockey Cheer Squad member Molli Wienhold to discuss the little cheer clinic that they'll be holding later this month. We'll also preview real quick the upcoming series this weekend against Central Oklahoma. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the flip side of these messages. Welcome back, Cyclone fans, to this episode of the Al Murdoch Show. I'm your host, Kevin Wey, joining me by Cyclone Hockey head coach and general manager, reversed at this time, Dr. Alan Murdoch. And as you can also see, no longer player of the week, you now have Cyclone Hockey Cheer Squad member Molli Wienhold. Molli, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, well, the Cheer Squad's holding the Little Cheer Clinic February 25th. Kind of who is the clinic aimed at, and who are the participants, and what all will they be doing, and what all will they receive?
The Little Cheer Clinic will be for K through 8th graders. It's for girls and boys, so youth in general. It doesn't have to be a girl, but most of them probably will be. It's a $20 registration fee, but with that you'll get a t-shirt, a very nice t-shirt with all of our sponsors on the back. You'll get a pair of pom-poms, your very own. You get to take them home. And you'll get a snack, and then you get admission to the game that night where they will cheer with us. We're going to have a 2-hour practice in Forker Gym, and where we will teach them dances, cheers, everything they need to know to be a Cyclone cheerleader. So.
With obviously all cheerleaders have to start somewhere at some point, and this might be the start for some young and aspiring cheerleaders that weekend. But I guess when did you start cheerleading, and how did you get that start?
I started as a freshman in high school. I cheered for basketball and football all 4 years in high school, so it was very fun, very fun.
I know some girls and boys get started even younger than that at the middle school, and I've seen it even younger, like little youth flag football have cheerleaders. My wife has an opinion on that, but anyways, she's a tomboy at heart with her athletics. Anyways, yes, Coach, talk a bit about. I mean, the Cyclone Hockey Cheer Squad has been part of the organization for pretty much as long as it's been around. Talk about the impetus of creating it, and what all sorts of things the Cheer Squad has done and continues to do for the organization.
You bet. We've got a very diverse hockey program here with Cyclone Hockey. You know, we've got the Cyclone Hockey Pep Band. We've got, you know, the Cyclone Hockey marketing team. But without a doubt, something we've had right from the get-go, right from day one back in the early 70s when we played in Hilton Coliseum, was the Cyclone Hockey Cheer Squad. And without a doubt, they're our number one spirit squad support. You know, they sell programs, they sell Chuck-a-Puck, they sell 50-50 tickets. They're marketing all the time. They travel to various venues. They were down in Illinois with us this year and gave us the impetus to sweep Illinois at Illinois. I challenged them. They need to come on every road trip so we can sweep every team. But you know, the players and the staff we know for a fact that the cheerleaders give us that one goal edge. The games that they're at and leading the cheers, they really get the crowd going, and they're just a very, very intelligent group of people. And you know, my heart is, I have a soft spot there for the cheer squad because it adds so much to our program, and we're really proud of them.
Certainly. I guess, Molli, talk a bit about how it was you became a member of the Cyclone Hockey Cheer Squad, and what are some of your favorite aspects about it?
Yep, I started as a freshman. I tried out just this past fall, and I made it, surprisingly. But we have 10 members now, 3 co-captains, which I am one of them. It's just so much fun to have all these girls together, and we just have so much fun together, and it's just amazing that we all get along together. We all love going to games and selling the programs and the Chuck-a-Puck and the 50-50, and it's just really exciting to cheer on the Cyclone Hockey.
And I had the whole student section yell spin, even though you guys don't have skates on anymore.
Yes.
Molli, talk a little bit about more how parents or kids can get more information or learn more about the clinic and how to register.
Right. They can come to the game this weekend, and we'll be there. We'll be selling the Chuck-a-Pucks and 50-50. If they want to catch one of us, we'll be in uniform. Very easy to find. Otherwise, we have a website up and running, which will be cyclonehockeycheercamp.com, and there you can register online and everything. You can pay online. It's very easy to do, very efficient. So we ask that you go ahead and do that. And if you have any other questions, you can email us personally at cyclonehockeycheer@gmail.com, and we'll get you registered that way too. So.
Outstanding. It'll be very, very enjoyable afternoon and evening for the participants.
We're really excited about it.
Well, Coach, the team this weekend is going to need all the support from the cheer squad they're going to get. We face the 14th ranked Central Oklahoma. Central Oklahoma at that ranking, they're in right now the tournament, the ACHA National Tournament, but they have a lot to lose depending on how things go for them this weekend. We both have a lot to gain, a lot to lose. Talk about the pressure of this weekend and the importance of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty important weekend. We'd obviously like to hang on to our ranking. We're at 7th currently. We don't want to drop necessarily any lower. It not only gives you a better position to be up there in the first round, but the second round as well. Central Oklahoma is in that position where they don't want to go any lower. Otherwise, they'll be up against some of the top teams in the first round. So they'll be coming in ready to battle. They've knocked off Penn State, the #1 team in the nation. They've had some other very big wins. Like us, they had a tremendous recruiting year this past summer, and a lot of new players on their campus. So they're going to come in loaded for bear, and I'm excited because we've got all kinds of fans calling in. We're going to have a probably a record number of fans, coming in as groups and having events, and we still have room. So go to our website and find out how to come as a group, cyclonehockey.com. You can also call our office, 294-6164, to get tickets, and there are still some tickets left, but I'd get them in advance. It's going to be a barn burner. They're going to be hanging from the rafters this weekend.
Absolutely. Before we go, we definitely want to thank our sponsor, Pizza Pit. This time I think I
can smell the pizza coming right in the door now as we speak.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Murdoch Show. We'll be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. So we will see you then, and we'll see you at the rink. Good night.